not sign him, and then to have the owners in what came out today was not an actual vote. They just said, hey, do you agree with this? Yeah, kind of off, not an official policy, which is very un-NFL like, according to insiders there, that say, okay, this is now a rule. I mean, look, you are shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to this whole thing with at least, the very legal proceedings that Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid are putting forth. And, maybe say half of the court of public opinion, when really, look, the NFL fan who left last year because they said they didn't want to watch anymore because of the protests, I don't think they're going to be coming back in droves just because you made this rule. And I could be wrong about that. I could be thinking, I could be underestimating their shock and awe and, disappointment about what the players did. And hey, if they come back and have better ratings than ever next year, I'll eat my shoe. But it's just,
hey, we got that down on tape.
Wait, I said there's actually a candy bar called Chew, my shoe.
Yeah.
It's in the
forgot about that
Arkansas market. Yeah.
Nestle, right?
Yes. No, actually, I believe it's Mars bar.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yes. Okay, so higher ratings than ever. That's a very high bar clear. Okay, hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm going to turn my TV off now to try to be part of this movement, so I don't have to eat my shoe. But it seems like such a strange response to almost like trying to add back some part of the fan base by taking away other parts and only making the players that did this, and maybe the sentiment was waning a little bit. I mean, less guys were doing it at the end of the season. Yes, like you said, Bobby. I mean, it was a huge issue for a couple of weeks, and it kind of died down. But now they're going to be so motivated again to do it, to try to stick it to these owners. It seems so dumb for them to pass a formal rule about this. I mean, if the NFL owners were smart, I think they would just let guys who would do this become more and more infrequent. Guys who are really committed to it, doing it, but they don't have their teammates sticking up with them, any longer. They're the only one or two on the sidelines doing it. I mean, let them do that and have their moment, and let the 99% of fans out there that don't care, like you and I, or support them even, let them just be able to still watch this game and not overreact to a very small minority. It just, to me, it had me shaking my head when I saw this headline, because it seems so wrong in so many aspects for them to pass a actual rule about this.
And it just seems kind of like an injustice to your players, because at what point are you controlling every move that they make? Because I was never on the players' side when it came to, the NFL is just a white man sport, or it's just all about the white man, the white owner. I was never on that side, because I believe that the game is equal opportunity. I mean, we see the vast majority of players are African Americans. Yes, the vast majority of owners are white, but I think when it comes down to it, you look at the fans, we're all races, and I think we are able to connect to it through all races, and that's why I don't mind when you bring up a topic that is so widely, criticized and needed to be talked about more in, the injustice that we see going on in America. That's why I had no problem with the players bringing it up, but the fact that it became as big as it did seemed like it was just an overstep, and the whole thing just seemed like overblown and way too much. And those fans that the NFL lost last season because of this whole situation are obviously not the diehard fans watching every game, right, watching Red Zone, watching the Sunday Ticket, going to games, getting jerseys. Those aren't the hardcore fans. These fans are just fair weather fans that are okay with not watching it because they have more other issues that they feel are more important. The vast majority of fans, which is a huge amount, are the diehard fans that don't care one way or another, and those are the fans that you need to relate to. Trying to bring up a subject that everyone feels is a little icky and kind of something that they don't want to talk about anymore because they get where it comes from, they think it needs to be talked about, but maybe the fact that the NFL is going so, the way it's going, let's just stop talking about it towards our football. Let's talk more football. I think it's just not fun. It's not fun for the fans. And it's not going to take away, but it's kind of putting a bad taste in everyone's mouth because why are you guys so against them speaking up? That's what the problem I have. And as far as the players go, I think that, the fact that Kaepernick hasn't been on a team is kind of a travesty. It does feel like he's getting blackballed at this point. I mean, the guy is a capable quarterback who's gone to a Super Bowl, and he's better than, I'd say, 30 other quarterbacks I can name off the top of my head in the league that are backups. Like, there's no way this guy should not be playing, and it's just way too obvious, and I agree with you. His lawyer's got to be jumping for joy right now.
Yeah, it's just very strange for them to do this while they're in the middle of a lawsuit about this very thing. I mean, it's just further bolding and underlining this issue as a very political issue by getting everyone's attention on it once again. If you want it to die away, then don't do anything about it. Just let it make its course, because you're not going to be able to stop social change just by being a sports league, and they're trying to do that, and it's not going to work for them. All right, Bobby, we got, 10 minutes left? We can do some more NFL. We can do a little MMA.
I want to talk a little hockey real quick,
too.
Yes,
of course. I'm sorry. I forgot. The hockey Stanley Cup finals are set, Bobby.
Yes.
One extreme Cinderella, and one team that has finally made over the hump. The Washington Capitals and Alex Ovechkin finally make it over the hump. And the Vegas Golden Knights, the team that really no one picked to be even in the playoffs to start this year, is now making it into the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year of existence. Whatever team wins is going to be a very good story.
Yeah, and what were the Vegas Golden Knights before the season? 500-1 underdogs?
Something like that, like 200-1, something like that.
Vegas is praying for Vegas to lose because they are going to get slaughtered. I'm sure there was a ton of people that took money on that just because why not? And it's an incredible story. I will, Alex, I predicted this correctly, and I think you owe it to me.
Okay.
I was the one who predicted this outcome.
Okay.
Me. Bobby, the Goodsby.
Bobby, the Goodsby says he predicted this outcome. We will have our team of at least a dozen interns and producers here. They're all bickering out in the studio right now. We'll fire a couple of them after this show, obviously, because competition is the best medicine to get this show bigger and better. We'll have some of them check what happened last time. We'll scour through the audio and see if this is actually true. But I'll give you a congratulations. I'll give you a good job, a pat in the back. But I have the full opportunity to rescind and take it back double time if I come back and I listen to it and say, oh, Bobby actually had the Lightning and I don't know, like the Calgary Flames in the Stanley Cup Final.
You'll have to eat your other shoe if you're correct. If you're wrong.
I don't agree to that. Don't agree to it.
Like I was saying, I think this is a great outcome for the NHL. I think this is the best matchup they could have asked for. For one, you've got the great storyline of a new team that wasn't even in existence a year ago, going 500-1 underdogs, best expansion team ever to do it, to make it to a championship game in their respective sport. Huge, huge story. And then it's two, Ovechkin finally getting to a Stanley Cup, possibly has a chance of winning this entire thing. The guy that many people thought maybe will never get over the hump, never be able to get a Stanley Cup. Maybe he should go to a different team. Maybe he should try his luck elsewhere. And he stayed with Washington. They finally get past Pittsburgh, which I think was like the best outcome they could have asked for, is the fact that they win against Pittsburgh along the way. That was perfect storyline. Then they get to Game 7, in the next round, and then they beat the Lightning, and they get to the Stanley Cup. This is just two amazing, I think the best case scenario stories for the NHL. I think this is going to bring in a ton of viewership. I think people from all walks of life are going to be more entertained and want to see what happens, and I think it's going to be a good matchup. I know that Vegas is favored, but I think it could go either way. I love this. I think it's great for the sport. I'm not even a huge hockey guy, and I'm ecstatic about this matchup. And the fact that, can Vegas be the first expansion team ever here? And two, can Ovechkin finally get his first ring? A guy that I've been watching. I mean, he's been in the NHL for, it seems like, forever. Yeah. So I'm loving both these storylines.
Right, and it's to go on the Ovechkin and Pittsburgh thing, and Ovechkin really versus Sidney Crosby. It was almost like these two guys were the current hockey version of Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain back
Or
in the,
Brady and Manning.
Right, exactly. A guy that, has maybe better stats and has all the scoring records and all this stuff in Alex Ovechkin, but is never able to beat his more well-rounded, his guy with maybe a better team every single year. Never be able to beat that guy in Pittsburgh, and he finally does it, and now he's in a final, and it just so happens that he happens to be facing a story that's even bigger than what he's facing in the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that, really, there's so many different storylines. Obviously, the number one is the expansion thing and the fact that this are in their first year of existence, and this has never happened before. But I mean, that team in that city, we talked about it a couple times, has really rallied around this team because of that horrible tragedy that happened just about a year ago in Las Vegas. And I mean, it's crazy. This is really a final, like you said, that even casuals, even very, very brief casuals of hockey can get behind and watch and really enjoy it, because either team that wins is going to be a very good, feel-good story. And, hey, it could be very good hockey as well. These are two very good teams with one team that has a superstar, or a couple of superstars, and Alex Ovechkin and Nikita Kucherov, and then the Vegas Golden Knights, who just have a red-hot goalie and Marc-Andre Fleury, and then a bunch of young guys and veterans who are just stepped up their game twofold in every way. So, yes, very much looking forward to. I believe that series starts on Monday.
Yes.
So we'll.
I'm sorry to interrupt. No. I will predict this.
Yes.
The NHL will break records with this Stanley Cup.
Oh, okay. So the official number for the estimate of how much the sports books in Vegas would lose, how much money they would lose, is estimated about $5 million they would lose if the Vegas Golden Knights.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, in the big scheme of things for Vegas, not that bad. But hey, if I had $5 million and I lost it, I would be pretty upset. Now,
they made $5 million in one night.
That's true. Bobby, kind of piggybacking off of that, the last 3 minutes we have here before we got to say goodbye for the night, Bobby, it is now an official federal law, or no longer a federal law, that states besides Nevada, I totally messed it up.
Yeah,
every state in the union is able to make their own sports betting laws. Holy shit, that is awesome! I am so excited. It was a holiday. It was a national holiday. Like last week, 2 weeks ago, when the Supreme Court made this decision. Oh my God! Hopefully, California is one of the.
Start crying.
I know it was one of the first adopters, and if I can go somewhere and play blackjack and bet on sports, oh man.
Especially for the fact that I work at a casino. Like,
right.
This is massive.
Right. Oh, my God. Bobby's going to be on the street in 5 years.
It'll bring in so many more people. Every week I get asked, hey, do you guys have sports betting here? No, only in Vegas or Atlantic City.
Right.
No, only Vegas or Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal.
Yes.
It's a big deal. There are so many people. Apps like DraftKings and FanDuel are loving this because it's saving their asses right now, knowing that they're going to be able to stick around. And this was a move that needed to be made. The NBA was behind it. MLB maybe not MLB. NFL was starting to be behind it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that they needed to get around and get with the times. Now, when it comes to the what's the word I'm looking for? The fact that they don't want other their players and stuff being involved.
Game fixing or corruption or whatever.
Yeah, the authenticity, I'll say, of their sports. That's what they want to keep the pureness of it involved. I know I'm missing the word and it's just blanking my head. But that needs to stay intact. But outside of that, the fact that sports betting is so huge, it could be huge numbers, a huge money pool for the NHL and the MLB, all of them. I just think that this is something that needed to happen. It needed to be done. This is revenue that states can use. Like, why did we not do this sooner? We're all in debt. Such as legalizing marijuana. This was the next biggest thing I was a proponent on. Why didn't they do this sooner?
Right. No, very exciting developments here in the state of California and nationally. So hopefully California can pass some sort of proponent of the bill or of sports betting, so we can start getting our bets on in California, and we don't have to drive all the way to Vegas. Although I feel like Vegas is still kind of a destination just because there's everything there.